In your 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond, you deserve to live your best life. Say goodbye to preconceived notions and let's shatter those stereotypes together. Get ready to own your vitality because age, well, that's just a number.
Hey everybody, it's BJ.
And Ruth.
And we're back talking all things health and fitness. And today we are going to talk about protein.
Love it.
Right?
Yep.
And so my definition of a protein, I just said to Ruth.
Don't do it. You're going to do it. He's going to do it.
My definition of protein, I said this to my daughter once, is it's a teen that's lost its amateur status.
Not funny.
So, I give credit to Calvin and Hobbes for that, actually, because that's where that came from. So anyway, we want to talk about protein. And we've had some people ask us, can we talk about protein? Because we've talked about protein powder.
Right.
But can we talk about real food protein sources?
Real food protein sources, yeah.
So that's what we're going to talk about today, and not about protein powder in the context of where we're going today. But, you know, it's really important. Protein is so vital to the muscle building process, and especially in our 40s, in our 50s, in our 60s. And, you know, the thing with protein is your body stores carbs, your body stores fat, but your body doesn't store protein.
Right.
Right? So we have to keep putting that protein in
yeah,
in order for our bodies to recover from whatever exercise we're doing and by extension build some muscle back.
Yeah.
Right? So today we are going to look at the best and the worst protein choices. Okay, are y'all ready? Let's go.
Let's do it.
All right, so we'll start with number one, the best protein source. And we'll talk about, you know, some of these are interchangeable. You might say, and you know what, here's the thing. Why don't you, to start with, we want to hear from you. What are your protein sources?
What are your go-tos?
Yeah, what's your go-to protein source? And what doesn't work for you, what doesn't work for you. We'd love to hear that. And as we go through our list, I think you'll find that some of these are interchangeable.
Yeah.
Because really, to me, 1 and 2, I could easily flip around.
Yep.
Okay. So number one, the number one source that we're going to say protein is salmon.
Yep.
Now, let me add something to that. We're talking about wild salmon, not farmed salmon. There's all sorts of issues with that. We're not going to get into that today. But just talking about salmon, why salmon ahead of eggs or ahead of chicken or any of those things? Because salmon has additional health benefits. So we're talking
the omega-3s,
exactly.
the healthy fats.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, which is a huge thing for reducing inflammation.
It is.
Which, as we age, it
just happens naturally.
Right?
So.
It's important at any age to reduce inflammation, but it's more of an issue as we age,
yes.
certainly, right? So roughly 20 grams of protein per 100 grams serving of salmon.
Yep.
So you can be thinking that way about it, because the other thing about salmon is maybe you're going to have it 2 or 3 times a week, right? One thing that as I was preparing for competition, one of the things my coach said to me is, we also want to be aware of when you're eating salmon because of mercury content in fish. So you can figure that part out, but we're going to say, you know, a couple of times a week, 2 to 3 times a week is obviously super healthy.
Yeah, and I don't always recommend, you know, sticking with one protein source all the time. So we're giving you many different ones to choose from. So switch it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So number 2, and really, like I said, we could have flipped these around.
Yeah.
The classic.
Eggs.
Whole eggs.
Eggs.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the whole egg, right?
Not the egg white.
Just the egg whites.
Yeah.
There's a time and a place for egg whites.
Yeah.
But if you don't know when that is, just eat the whole egg.
Yeah.
If you're not in a place where it makes sense for you, just go ahead and stick with the whole egg. And really, it's the complete package when we talk about an egg, right? It's high quality protein, healthy fat in the yolk, essential nutrients for recovery. You really can't go wrong with eggs.
Yep.
And whether it's one or two, and you have to figure out, again,
How
you
many?
have to, you have to figure out your macros, your calorie intake, and all of those things. And we've talked about this before too, is a coach is a great resource to have. And nowadays there's even apps that can help you.
I was going
to
say, if you don't know, then look outside and go start virtual, because a lot of people, you have coaches, online coaches, you have the apps.
Yeah. Each egg has 6 grams of protein. Okay. And again, is loaded with essential amino acids. It's got all the essential amino acids.
It does.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 3 is Greek yogurt. And again, like I said, you can interchange these, but we've put them in a relative order that we think makes sense. So anyway, number 3 is Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt is going to give you the protein. And here's the other thing that's super important as we age as well, probiotics. Right? Because your gut health is tremendously important for just lifestyle wise, but also obviously for the ability of your body to digest properly and use the food that you're giving it, right?
And if there's any of you out there like me that prefer non-dairy sources, there are non-dairy sources of Greek yogurt, plant-based sources. So just look for them. They're out there.
And for anybody that didn't know, just so we put that in perspective, is you are lactose intolerant?
Well, yeah, and it's yes, and so I'm really mindful of my dairy.
Yeah. So I say that to say there's a workaround for whatever is the situation.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So 10 grams of protein typically per 100 gram serving of Greek yogurt.
Yep.
Okay. The other thing about yogurt and Greek yogurt, if you're going to get it, is read the label, because you can get yogurt that's flavored. And flavored often means sugars are added to make it flavored. That's correct, yes. So read what's in it. If it's flavored, be aware of how it's flavored and what it's flavored with.
Yeah.
I know sometimes, we haven't in a long time, but my daughter and I, sometimes we get for home Greek yogurt, but it's with honey.
Right.
Flavored with honey. Or you can just do this. I do this often, is I get Greek yogurt and then I flavor it at home with whatever I want to put in it. So
I do that too. I do the plain, unsweetened, and then I add my stuff to it at home.
Yeah. So I have 0-calorie maple syrup that goes in just about anything that's even remotely sweet at this stage. So that's a big one. So, okay, number 4, and really 4 and 5, again, are interchangeable, but the reason we're putting 4 where it is here is the fact that we're also talking about muscle building. Okay. So number 4 is lean red meat. Okay. So when we talk about lean red meat, so that's like top sirloin, that's ground beef, tenderloin, right?
Yeah.
Here's the other part of it though, is if you can, grass-fed is always better.
Yeah.
Better nutrient profile, better amino acid profile. It's just going to do more for you. And I'll tell you from experience, one year, many years ago, we bought a quarter cow, and it was raised in the field, whatever, all that stuff. And first time I ate it, I was like, this is amazing. Yeah. This tastes amazing.
Yeah.
And then after, I don't know, that lasted a while, but after we were done, the season was over as far as getting a cow when it was done. So we went to the store and bought some beef, and I'm like,
really different.
This is awful.
Yes.
This is so bland. So, so it's more nutrient dense if it's grass fed and all of those things. But generally speaking, you're going to get nutrient dense food with lots of iron, and obviously the protein, and a huge support, especially for muscle growth.
Yes, and
right?
Red meat has gotten a bad rap over the years because it's higher in fat. But look for the cuts and read the labels, because extra lean, choose extra lean, and learn what the best cuts are, so that the best parts, so that it's leaner. Yeah,
and even in that, we're getting more feedback that maybe the demonization of fat was overblown.
Was over, you think?
Which we said that, well, maybe not on this channel, but we've said that from the start. Yeah. Right?
I still have a lot of friends who's like, I won't eat red meat. It's like, well, why? I don't get it. It's, yeah.
So your body needs some fat, right? You need fat to burn fat.
Yeah.
So, okay. And number 5, and this is one that everybody knows, right?
So chicken.
Chicken. So, chicken or turkey, basically almost the same.
Yep.
Except for size, obviously. But, classic lean chicken breast. If you're doing some, leaning out, it's typically going to involve a cleaner protein source, leaner protein source. And so that's where chicken breasts come into the equation. So
I use lean ground turkey and ground chicken quite often, and make meatballs and put it on pizza and put it in chili and all this stuff. So
so high protein, low in fat. There's really no going wrong with it. So for chicken, 100 gram servings of chicken is 31 grams, give or take, of protein.
Yep.
So that's a big benefit, obviously. So we want to also talk about something that maybe people don't think about when it comes to protein is nuts. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be number 6, and specifically almonds and walnuts.
Yeah.
So even in the midst, for me, of pre-contest dieting, I still eat almonds throughout the process.
Yep.
Right. So,
but be mindful of the fat. They're high in fat. So just be mindful of that.
Right. So it's healthy fats that you're going to get, and that healthy fat supports heart health, and that's why we're including it in this list. And it's a great snack, like a handful of almonds that you can snack on in the morning or wherever you're at. That takes the edge off of any hunger, so you don't get ravenously hungry. And we all know what happens when we get too far along that line, right? So 6 grams of protein per 30 gram serving of nuts, and they're also high in monounsaturated fats, which is a good thing. Okay. All right. Number 7, cottage cheese, which for many years was a staple of it's not right now. Mm-hmm. And, maybe different for you, obviously.
I do tofu.
Yeah. So there's an alternative to that.
There are alternatives,
Cottage cheese is an excellent source of protein. Generally speaking, if you have no issues like what you're saying, it digests well, digests slowly.
Yeah.
Right. Includes calcium, and then there's all the nutritional value as well. So, 11 grams of protein per 100 grams of cottage cheese. So that's a good one. And the last of the best is one for, and this is especially if you are vegetarian, or maybe you don't like
vegan,
to eat,
or
you just don't like to eat meat as much.
Doesn't have to be animal protein. There's plant-based
So there's
sources.
plant-based proteins, and specifically, we're going to talk about lentils or quinoa.
Yeah.
And they're great options for protein. They're great fiber sources as well, and they're full of essential nutrients. So I think
my 2 favorites are chickpeas and black beans.
Right. Okay.
I gotta be different.
Yeah. And so in terms of serving size, there's 9 grams of protein per 100 grams of quinoa and 4 grams of protein per 100 grams of lentils. So, all right. So those are the good ones. And, you can figure out how that works in your nutrition plan. It's got to be part of the overall plan, right? So, and again, put it in the comments. What are your go-tos for protein? What are you doing to keep your protein intake where it should be and keeping it up high so that as you age, you can be adding muscle and doing all of these things, right? So thank you for joining us today. If you haven't, please give us a like and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate it. We're putting out a pile of content. Want to make sure you don't miss anything. So do that for us, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.